Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan and thank you for joining us for our Monday update recorded on July the 22nd. Well, on Saturday we had that offshore storm to the north of the country. Luckily didn't cause too many issues because it was mostly offshore, and it was followed by Sunday's low pressure zone coming out of the Tasman. Today, Monday, the two have combined, and this is it here, just south of the Chatham Islands. Now between that low, which is quite large, and a very large high coming out of Australia, most parts of the country have got a southerly airflow. Southerlies, southeasterlies, southwesterlies, mostly southwesterlies across the country. And as that airflow moves in, it drops temperatures down just a little bit on where they've been. But even with that drop, most of New Zealand this week will be warmer than average, and it gets warmer as the week goes on. So let's kick off with temperatures for Tuesday. They've dropped down a little bit in the north here. Keep in mind some places were 18 and 19 a couple of days ago. Most other parts of central New Zealand haven't changed a great deal, but the further down you go, you're noticing a few degrees up on where you were last week. Here is Tuesday's setup. So we've got that cooler airflow coming in around the country between the low here and the high, just coming in around New South Wales, or coming out of New South Wales. So southerly or southwesterly winds around New Zealand. We've got showers around Auckland for the most part, one or two isolated ones elsewhere out there. Otherwise, it is a fairly dry day. By Wednesday, not a great deal of change. Still got those showers continuing along the western side. The pale blue means they aren't very much. They'll be short-lived, and you won't get lots of them. Basically, by the end of the day, you won't be getting more than 1 millimetre or 2 millimetres for most of those areas. So fairly dry. And at the other end of the country, your airflow now increasingly coming out of Australia. So those west to southwest winds start to lift your temperatures up, and they do that even more so on Thursday as you start to really see this is a nor'wester out of Queensland that is crossing over the Tasman Sea and into southern parts of New Zealand, and then it curves around as a sou'wester for the top of the country. So even if your wind direction isn't changing this week, the temperatures should lift up by the time we get to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as a result of that Australian airflow coming out and around the country. But we are still seeing showers, very pale blue line there on the western side of the North Island and the western side of the Upper South Island. Very normal at this time of the year to be getting those little showers off the Tasman, but they can be a bit annoying if you're looking for that blue sky. You're not always getting it when you've got those clouds and small showers around. The flip side, eastern areas will be sunny and dry. Good news for those of you in the eastern North Island. So here we are on Friday. You've got the high pressure zone moving in, cooler nights, maybe some fog patches around, and in the South Island, a mild nor'wester blowing through for you, but that's ahead of a cold front. Now, if you're into boarding or skiing and you're looking for that snow, unfortunately this week in New Zealand there is basically no snow. There might be a little bit around today, Monday, for the Central Plateau, but the South Island's pretty dry. Now here on Friday, you'll start to see some warmer rain showers developing, but overnight, going into Saturday morning, there's the next cold front. Now this could deliver some good snow for the ski fields and the mountains. It's not a freezing cold system, but it is enough at this time of the year to bring in some snow for the ski fields. Warm, windy nor'westers, warm for this time of the year, whenever I say that, moving into central areas, but the high is still pretty much in control of the North Island. And by Sunday, that cold front moving further up the country, so a bit more snow around for the ski fields and the tops of the mountains. It won't be going down much lower than that. And then by nighttime, Sunday night, going into Monday morning, that will pass over the North Island, perhaps just a few snow flurries on the mountains. This is not a huge amount of snow, but people do keep asking me about where is the snow, so that's where it is. And behind all of this, looks like next week might be kicking off with some westerly winds, which means some of you are going to be noticing spring. I mean, you already are. We're getting people writing to us about plants that seem to be confused about what time of the year it is. And certainly northern parts of New Zealand, or northerners, are commenting about spring a lot more than southerners are, who have been saying this is the coldest winter they've seen in a few decades. So it does depend on where you live, but there might be some signs of spring around this week. Look out for those lambs and daffodils. That is all from me. We'll see you again tomorrow, Tuesday, with our next update.